Yes, yes, yes. It's Raphael Dawkins with Combat Radio. And we are live. Okay, so without much further ado, let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Boxing Talk with Rafi. 290. We are moving on, and I'd like to thank you all for your continued support on the journey, on the mission to bring Raphael Dawkins Boxing Talk with Rafi to the four corners of the earth. We won't stop until worldwide domination has been secured. That's the goal. That's the mission statement. Okay, so let's get into it. What we're looking at today. Well, let's have a look at the thumbnail. Okay, so we got the Daniel Dubois versus Bogdan Dinu occurring later on this week. Actually, the weekend. We have Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk. Yeah, their little situation. Is Joshua going to vacate, or is he going to go ahead and take the fight? Is the fight more problems, more worries than it is worth? And I have a fella who's a little bit on fire. He's a little bit on fire, and I think he's going to be popping in later. And his question, which I shall ask on his behalf, but I hope he comes in and frames it himself. But anyway, his question is, he shall remain nameless. And his question is, the hypocrisy on the Joshua versus Usyk situation is beyond nuts. And, hold on, that's not good. That's not good. My bell didn't ring properly this time. Let's go, type 2. Okay, that's more acceptable, more respectable. He said this situation is beyond nuts. Joshua diehards continue to crap on Usyk, and yet they can't justify why Pulev was more deserving of a mandatory shot than Usyk. Pulev sat on the mandatory for 4 years and fought virtually no one. Whereas in the meantime, what has Usyk done at heavyweight? But anyway, we're gonna get into that in a bit. I've promised to answer that question, and I shall do so. Okay. What else we looking at? Okay. In the bottom right-hand corner, we see, who's that? Floyd Mayweather. Which Paul is that? Logan's run? Is this Logan? Is this one Logan? I forgot the other one's name. Anyway, he's a Paul. I never said appalling. I said a Paul. Okay. So, where? OMG. How could I forget? The man hunched over in the middle of the picture? None other than Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder, and the weekend, he was compared to none other than the late, the greatest, Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay, a name which he renounced. Okay, so the table is set and the cards have been dealt. So I think it's time that I drop the link. Couple of things I need to do. The first thing is drop the link. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, that's first things first. Second thing, what am I doing here? Okay, second thing is I need to select the piece. Select the first piece. What is the first piece that we're going with here? Okay, let me scroll along, scrolling on. Okay, let's have a look. Who's that? Is that R. Henry? R. Henry versus Muhammad Ali, right there. What's that? 66? Oh, was that the year it happened? 66. Highbury. Oh, having the Highbury Arsenal football ground. Okay. So let's have a look here. Okay, that's another. I just stumbled on another juicy one. But let's stay focused. OMG. No wonder I can't see it. I emailed it to myself. So let's get into Rafi's emails. Oh, okay. Here it is. Is that it? Is that what we're starting with? Is that we started with, or are we going to start with Daniel Dubois versus Bogdan Dinu? I don't know. I want to go for the juicy bit. I want to go for the juicy bites. I think I'm going to go for the juicy bites. Hold on. Let's, first and foremost, dang, what the hell's going on here? This thing's going out of control. Jeez, Louise. Let me just kill off those messages there. Dang. Okay. Let's mute that. All right. Now get the hell on up out of here. All right, let's go with it. We're going straight for the jugular. We're going for the big one. Okay, let's get this damn thing shared. Stop sharing that. Uh-oh. Let's start sharing this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that should be up on your screen right now. Nonetheless, let's resize it. Okay, looks a lot better. Okay. Where's the headline? Where is it? It's down below. Okay, there it is. Okay, so who do we have up in the building? Who we got? We got Ignorant Boxing. Elisa Bales. The Iron Kong. What else we got? What's going on? Shouting out. We got T. White shouting out to everybody. The T. White, better known as the Fight Doctor, or sometimes the Barroom Brawler Doctor, the Barroom Fight Doctor. Okay, and OMG. Look who it is. It's the Hamid. Oh dear. Okay. So who else we got? Okay, so that is the list of characters right about there. And let's get straight. Oh, where's the link? Let me make sure the link is in the chat. Where is it? Let me share that one more time. Let me share it one more time before I get into this shiznix. Let's post it up there. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, why don't do a sound check? Let's go. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, why don't do a sound check? Let's go. And as a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, why don't do a sound check? Let's go. Okay, that was kind of brutal. I needed to turn the music down just a tad, and mission accomplished. Okay, so let's get into this shiznix. So, heavyweight fighter Deontay Wilder is the closest thing to Muhammad Ali in this time, ahead of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Was a claim, very bold claim that was made by none other than Malik Scott. But anyway, there it is, according to his new trainer, Malik Scott. Okay, the American heavyweight is bidding to avenge his stoppage defeat to Tyson Fury when he faces the Brit for a third time in Las Vegas, July 24. What's that? 6 weeks away? 6 weeks away? 24, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? Okay. Wilder has established himself as a heavyweight knockout artist over the years. And there we see him taking care of Old Tees, Luis Old Tees, reputed to be in his early 50s. Okay. I don't know if that's any great shakes, but anyway, okay, here we see Muhammad Ali, previously known as Cassius Clay, standing aloft over the fallen, the vanquished Sonny Liston. Okay. So Scott believes he's falling in the footsteps of Muhammad Ali. Okay. I see Iron Kong in the background. Okay, Iron Kong. I'm gonna come to you shortly. Okay. So let's get back into where is this here? Okay, there it is. Okay. So let's go through this. Scott, who's only begun training Deontay Wilder since his loss to Fury in February last year, has compared the Bronze Bomber with the legendary boxer Muhammad Ali. Speaking to none other than 78 Sports, Muhammad Ali is one of my greatest fighters of all time. He was very magical in the ring, but it was the things he beat outside of the ring that truly got my attention. Deontay Wilder is the closest thing to that in this time. What is this here? Wilder currently holds a professional record of 42 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. Ali retired with a record of 56 wins, 5 defeats. He is renowned for being involved in some of the greatest fights of all times against the likes of George Foreman, Joe Frazier. The greatest fought for world titles between 1965 and 1980. Damn, that's too long. What's that? That's a long time. What was one of the most iconic careers in the history of boxing. Meanwhile, Wilder is currently without a world championship belt, with Fury claiming the WBC belt from him and Anthony Joshua holding the remaining 3 straps. So what the hell is that all about? Who will win? Who would win the trilogy fight? Well, I think it's going to be Fury. 81%, only 18%. Damn it, I always go way too fast. Only 18% believe that Fury, Deontay Wilder, will prevail over Fury in their trilogy match. But the question is, what the hell is Malik Scott smoking? Or is he right? Deontay Wilder is the closest thing to Muhammad Ali in this time, ahead of Tyson and Anthony Joshua. OMG. Okay. And in comes the man like the Iron Kong. Iron Kong, how you doing, my friend? How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Rafi? Good afternoon, man. What are you doing?
My friend, I'm good. I hope you're well. It's the sun. We're having a heat. Heat wave over it here in the UK for the last week or two.
Well, that's a good thing, right? Because just a few months ago, y'all were complaining for the cold. So enjoy the heat.
That's all. Oh, you know me. I enjoy that tropical vibe when the sun comes out. As you can well imagine. Okay, but I don't know if you saw the interview with 78 Sports on the weekend. On Sunday, I think it was. I don't know if you saw it live. I saw it live. It was interesting. It was interesting. There was some humility. There was some humility on the part of Tyson, on the part of Deontay Wilder. There was some humility, but he's insistent. He's going for it. And I find myself thinking, well, hold on a second. Am I falling for a trap? Am I falling for the trap? The trap being that Deontay Wilder is only taking the trilogy fight so he can get his hand on some money, some big money, some reasonable money, and he's just this is it. He's gonna do this fight and then he's gonna get the hell out to Dodge. He's gonna retire. So that's why I can't get invested, bro. I'm slightly curious. The Iron Kong. I'm slightly curious.
No, I watched the interview. I actually did a stream about the interview. I found the interview uncomfortable. I was like, why am I listening to Malik Scott spend all these hours stroking Deontay Wilder's ego, telling him how great he is, how great of a humanitarian he is, and all this other, like the stuff you mentioned before with Ali and all that. I mean, I didn't hear nothing about what they're changing in training. I didn't hear none of that really. It's just a bunch of ego stroking and all this other like hyperbole. Deontay Wilder talking about how he was wrong, the glove was smushed in and kept its shape and all this others. Like, man, just please, how somebody put hate in his heart, and it's like, just, hey man, I'm not interested in hearing none of this. I came for Boxing Talk. What I got was an uncomfortable interview with Malik Scott waxing poetic about Deontay. I guess Deontay Wilder likes people who blow up his ego and tell him how great he is all the time. And maybe some people need that. Maybe he's one of them guys. Some people need that. So maybe Malik Scott has him in a good place, has his ego and his self-esteem high. Sometimes, like, I look at Deontay as somebody who has self-esteem issues. And that's why he has issues with people like maybe Joshua and these people who are very maybe outwardly confident, who have achieved a lot, and he likes people to kiss his ass. And that's what Malik Scott is doing quite well. The interview was, to me, rather uncomfortable. I didn't like the interview, but maybe that's what Deontay Wilder needs. So, yeah.
Maybe that is what Deontay Wilder needs. Maybe that's what he needs to, to get him going, to get him up out of bed, to get him fully functioning. Maybe that's what it takes. Maybe that's what it takes. But as for this notion, I mean, I knew they were doing it from the same house because I could see the decor, and I could hear the interference when one was talking. You could hear the interference with the other until 78 got a hand around it, figured out he had to mute one when the other was speaking. So I knew they were talking from the same house. As a matter of fact, the same rooms, the piano room. So clearly they've got the camp now in the house. Deontay Wilder has took some of the winnings from the Fury fight, and he's invested it in a home gym. He's got an outside ring under a canopy. I know we saw him with the construction of a basketball court. So one thing I'll give Deontay Wilder credit for is I think he spent wisely when he bought that big spread by the water down in Alabama. He's got endless amount of acres, and he's expanded the compound with training facilities, etc., etc. But I question the end game because only 20% of people have Deontay Wilder winning the second fight. I question myself. I have a hunch that he might do something, he might land something, but then I think to myself, hold on a second. Why am I even thinking that way? His chances of victory are so slim. I think anybody who thinks he's going to do well could end up with egg on their face at the end of it when he goes, well, hey, I came in, I tried my best. You can only try your best. And I came in and I did what we tried to do, but it didn't work out this time. And, I think I've wanted to go from Hollywood to Hollywood for some time, but, the boxing, it was my destiny. It was my calling. So, I fulfilled my calling, even though my heart was in two places at the same time. You can't have two mistresses. You got to pick the one you love most. And I think it's time for me. Can't serve two masters. The scriptures tell you that. The scriptures tell you that. My daddy's a pastor in the local church, and I was raised with that. So I know you can't serve two masters, but I tried because I knew I had the fans on my back. I was carrying the Black American fans, and it's. But now I have to serve myself. I did this for the people, and now I have to be true to myself. and that means Hollywood. But this 15 million here that I've earned from the third Tyson Fury fight, I think this is going to be a nest egg, and this is going to help my career over there in Hollywood. So thank you for everyone who supported me over the years. Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad will never die. We just hibernate. And don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when Anthony Joshua stop ducking me. If I come back and claim his scalp.
Mm-hmm.
That's Deontay Wilder's speech. That's my prediction.
Is that his post-fight speech?
Deontay Wilder's post-fight speech after the third Tyson Fury fight. Word for word. Mark my words. Can I play with madness? Fight Doctor, please, don't be shy.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status, as always. I have a question.
Come with it.
Now, between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, just having looked at their posture lately, who would you say is the guy who's focused on his next fight?
Repeat the question, please.
Having looked recently at the posture, at the attitude, at the overall energy of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury recently, well, who would you say is a guy who is focused on his next fight?
I would say Deontay Wilder is more focused. Outwardly, he gives the impression of being outward impression of being more focused. But I would also have to add the caveat that I can't claim to be in another man's head.
Okay, so given Tyson Fury's history, all right, because we do have to factor that in, and Tyson Fury does have a history of mental illness, drug abuse, and just his behavior lately. Honestly, when I look at the two fighters, I would say that you have one guy in Deontay Wilder who looks super focused, and another guy in Tyson Fury who thinks it's all a joke and has probably been putting powder up his nose lately. Just given his antics lately, and just the energy that I see from Tyson Fury. That's just what I think. But I'm not with the guy 24/7, so I don't know what he does, behind closed doors. I'm just going off of, what we know he has done in the past.
Okay, so we can talk about that a little bit later, perhaps. But first things first. What do you think of Malik Scott's words? I know you heard the words. If you didn't watch the thing live, I know you heard the word. You heard the words. Malik Scott feels that Deontay Wilder is the closest thing to Ali right about now in this era.
Shout out to the Iron Kong. If Malik Scott honestly and truly let those words come across his mouth, he should be stripped and beaten with wet bamboo. At minimum.
Shout out to that. Aaron Daly with the donation, the super chat, the support is much appreciated. And he says, shout out, salute to the panel, Rafi, Kung, and the Fight Doctor. Much appreciation, Aaron Daly, and he becomes the first sponsor of the show. Show your support, just like Aaron Daly did. Much appreciation, the Fight Doctor. The words of Malik Scott.
If Malik Scott honestly and truly let those words cross his lips, it really doesn't even deserve a response because it's just retarded. It's just crazy. It's stupid. Why would you? That doesn't even. That is not worthy of a response. I can't respond to that because it's just dumb. It's just stupid.
Okay. Kong, Iron Kong, your thoughts and observations on this most bizarre statement by Malik?
I ended up seeing the quote on Twitter. Then I said, you know what? Let me go look at the interview. Let me see what he actually said. And he was talking about how Deontay Wilder's out of the ring exploits is similar, or is similar to like Ali. And I was just like, why is it so easy? He's talking about like fighting for like the fight and the arbitration and all that. And us, I said the same thing like Teofimo Lopez Sr. when he said that. And it was, why is it so easy for these people to invoke Muhammad Ali's name in their mouth? Bro, you're dealing with an arbitration. You're dealing with a contract. That you're not fighting for anything. All you have is a lawyer who's waiting for an arbitrator to make a ruling. Nobody took your career away. You are not going up against the U.S. government. You're not dealing with the racial people who really would kill you back in those. You're not dealing with none of those things. I'm not sure why is it so easy. People like Teofimo Lopez Sr. talking about his son's purse bid. Oh, we did like what Muhammad Ali did. And Wilder with his arbitration. Why is it so easy for these people to disrespect Muhammad Ali like that? A man who meant so much for people around the world. Muhammad Ali spoke up against the U.S. government and they took his career from him. There is nothing like nothing resembles it. Nothing. Deontay Wilder has not done even a quarter of the social work. He's not as socially relevant as Ali. I just find it disrespectful. Like Teofimo Sr. and Malik Scott, who prefaced it by saying, I'm a boxing historian. I'm a boxing historian. I know all about boxing. It's all I've ever done. And when he went on to say the Ali thing, I was like, yeah, okay, man, this is not necessary. That's why I told you, Rafi, it was an uncomfortable interview because things like that are not necessary to hype up Deontay. You can make Deontay Wilder feel good without saying that nonsense. Wilder should have stopped Malik Scott and said, no, don't do that. You should have stopped him. I have not heard any other fighter other than these recent guys invoke Ali. Like, I haven't heard Tyson and these people who did, I mean,
way more.
I'm not understanding. So I guess he compared Wilder to Ali in terms of the out of the ring exploits. And it's just ridiculous. It's disrespectful. Malik Scott, as Fight Doctor said, should be flogged. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely more. Outrageous, flagrantly bizarre statement likening to Deontay Wilder's tribulations, likening Deontay Wilder's tribulations to the life and times of the great Muhammad Ali, and I find it quite laughable. It's quite hilarious, but it's clear that those guys actually believe what they're saying. They sit there, they weren't smirking. I'm sure they didn't have their fingers crossed or their toes crossed. They said it with all sincerity, and it's become quite clear to me that the levels of delusion over there is something quite astonishing. Why Deontay Wilder thinks he's going to win this fight? I mean, he's got a puncher's chance, but holy hell, holy macaroni! He just got walked down. He just got walked down. And I think he's perpetrating another crime against the public. I think he's pretending that he thinks he's going to win, and I can't see it. I can't see it. The guy got walked down. There's a part of me that kind of thinks, has a hunch that maybe he could just pull one out of the bag, but he didn't come near pulling one out of the bag last time around. And Tyson Fury surely knows that the techniques he employed worked. And surely to goodness, he will be doing them again. He will be doing it all over again. He'll be doing it more. With more confidence. And that's how I see the third fight going. Looks like it's real. Looks like it is going to happen. Anybody with final words on the lunacy of the statement that Deontay Wilder is this era's Muhammad Ali. Anybody want to add anything before we move along?
If that type of lunacy will be part of Malik Scott's approach to the rematch, then I fear Deontay Wilder is doomed, because that was just what I call blatantly stupid. Just dumb. I mean, like half of a brain cell type of drooling retard type of stupid. You know, why would you say something that damn stupid? It's just dumb.
What I will say is that the Fight Doctor, if you haven't seen the interview, go check it out. I think you should. I mean, you might like the interview. I didn't like it personally, because I think Malik Scott was just basically playing to Deontay Wilder's ego. But I'm hoping that there's more to it than that. I've seen Wilder's training video. He seems happy. He seems engaged. He seems, he seems loose in his soul. Best of luck to him. But what I will say about these people is that please stop trying to create a fake persona for Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's actual story, his actual story, is better than what you're trying to create for him, because it's not going to stick. Just let the man's story be his story. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's it for me.
Yes. Oh, is that sound? I just heard yes. Okay. So let me go over and find. I'm looking. Oh, damn! It's my new technique. Is flooring me. I'm sending the articles to myself via email, so it stops clogging up my screen. Where is it? Boom. Okay, I'm liking it so far. I'm liking the technique so far. Okay, where is this? Where is that? Okay, that's there. Okay, so let's stop sharing this. Stop sharing this and start sharing that. Okay, so what we got here? Okay, oh, damn. Okay, the Jameson says Deontay Wilder wouldn't have been in the top 100 in Ali's day. Damn, harsh. Almost certainly true. Okay, so thanks for the donation. That was the James Jameson. Becomes a second sponsor of the show alongside the Aaron Daly. So that's much appreciated. Okay, and let's have a look at this article here. Well, it's a story, isn't it? It's a story that's going down. And says Joshua will vacate the WBO belt rather than enter into purse bids for the Alexander Usyk fight. Okay, and I think that the Fight Doctor is in here. Subscribe to the zone. I'm already subscribed. Is in here, possibly as a representative, but I'd like to hear it from the guy himself. Can the gentleman who posed the question, the first question which I will be aiming to answer, can the gentleman present himself? Can he come on in and present your argument? I have the question. If you don't come in, I'll just go by the question that you wrote. But if you want to present your petition more articulately, then I invite you to come on in, because we're talking about it right about now. We're doing it now. Okay, so Eddie Hearn is keen to avoid a purse bid for Anthony Joshua's fight with Alexander Usyk, and hopes that a deal can be reached. Okay, so Eddie Hearn has admitted Anthony Joshua will vacate the WBO title if a deal can't be made to take on mandatory challenger Alexander Usyk. Joshua appears to be gearing up towards a showdown with Tyson Fury. But that unification was thwarted. And the rematch, okay, that's nonsense. He wasn't thwarted. They knew what was going on. There was nothing thwarted, okay, apart from undisputed. So, yeah, we know that decision left Anthony Joshua without a dance partner. Summer opponent immediately available, but of course, There's the Alexander Usyk. What does this say here? We either make a deal or we'll vacate, said Hearn to the press, following Devin Haney's points win over Jorge Linares last weekend. I mean, we won't be going to purse bits or anything like that and mucking around. By the way, I don't blame the WBO. They were actually quite generous. Excuse me. They were quite generous with our time. I mean, let's be honest, it dragged on a bit, didn't it? So I have to take my hat off to the WBO. But when the time comes, Varcel, when the time come, Varcel had to do what he had to do. So I'm not annoyed with the WBO. I'm just annoyed that it seems to be basically AJ is told who he's got to fight every single time. But that's the problem of having 3 or 4 belts. That's just how it be. That's just how it be. Yeah, come on in.
Me?
No, I just thought somebody was coming in. It's okay. I thought I heard somebody coming in. So what I'll say to this is that clearly, Hearn, Joshua, and Philip are being dragged around, pushed around, dragged around, told what the percentage is going to be. No, they're saying, no, listen, if this doesn't get arranged, if we don't arrange this, we're not going to be held to any standard purse percentage split. We're not looking to overpay you. We're just looking to have a fight and give you your market value and be done with it. And if you don't like that, go and fight Joe Joyce. Go and fight Joe Joyce. If you don't want, so I guess I'm answering the question. If you don't like that, go and fight Joe Joyce. We're not going to overpay you. We're not doing it anymore. Go fight Joe Joyce if you don't like what we're offering you. The Fight Doctor, what say you?
Couple of things. First, this is not a duck. That's the first thing. This is not a duck. This is a business move. At the end of the day, it's called prize fighting. You fight for a prize. And you have to ask a question. What has Usyk done at heavyweight to deserve a shot at, one of the top heavies in the division? And my answer to that question is not a goddamn thing. Okay, sorry for the children who are listening, but Usyk has done nothing at heavyweight. Nothing. I think that if you're going to, lay claim to a mandatory position, you should have to earn that mandatory position by actually fighting someone. Okay, which Usyk has not done at heavyweight. And my apologies to the Usyk fan base, but what you do as a cruiserweight has zero bearing on your standing as a heavyweight. None. So Usyk should have to fight somebody. Fight somebody. Okay? And okay. Fight Joe Joyce. And then the winner of that fight can rightfully say he's earned his position as mandatory challenger. And I wouldn't have a problem with the winner of that fight getting a shot at one of the top heavyweights. No problem at all. But as it stands, I don't think a guy should be rewarded with a title shot for having beat an old Derek Chisora and a nobody in Chaz Witherspoon. I mean, come on, man. I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? I mean, seriously, So, so this is not a duck. Now, having said that, I think this is a blow to the undisputed crowd. I think this is also not a good look for Eddie Hearn, who has been preaching undisputed for the last year. And now, given the first opportunity, he takes the undisputed, the possibility for undisputed fight and essentially makes undisputed that much more difficult, because now with this title having been splintered even more, who knows when we'll get to see a quote unquote undisputed title fight. So it's good business, I think, for Anthony Joshua ultimately in terms of his bottom line, but not a good look.
It's not a good look for Anthony Joshua, says the Fight Doctor. And then comes the Iron Kong.
I think a duck is when you openly avoid somebody and you're unwilling to fight them. I think what Eddie Hearn and Joshua is saying, look, man, we know what the WBO has mandated. I think it was 80-20. And you're going to take this 80-20, sir. And whatever terms I say, I guess a rematch clause or whatever. And he's like, look, man, you're going to take this these terms and we can fight, or you're not going to take the terms and you can have this belt and you can go on and fight somebody else, okay? But you're not going to get my payday and you're not going to strong arm me, okay? You're not going to strong arm me. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see the fight, personally. You know, I'm a big believer that you fight your mandatories. If you have a belt and somebody's a mandatory, you fight the mandatory. Yeah, I mean, how Usyk got it, but the mandatory is a bit odd, but that's the WBO rules. That's what it is. You have their belt and you have to abide by their rules. However, if people are complaining about AJ might drop the belt, and these people are Tyson Fury fans, I'm not taking no instructions from you. You can't instruct anybody when it comes to title defenses. Okay? So if anybody's a Tyson Fury fan and you're complaining about Anthony Joshua going to do with one of his 3 belts, I'm not taking instructions from you. I'm not taking no chastisement from you. You go speak to Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder is going to give Tyson Fury an opportunity to defend his belt the first time. You know? So I'm not interested in that. But what I will say, Anthony Joshua will fight Usyk. Just tell Usyk accept the terms. And to whoever is asking about Pulev accepted the terms. Pulev accepted whatever terms, and he went in there and he fought.
Yeah.
Okay? Otherwise, you would have gotten the IBF and you would have gone off to fight whoever to make no money. Accept the terms, and you can get cleaned out by Joshua. So go ahead. All right.
100%. Anthony Joshua is not running away from the fight. He's simply saying, hey, let's get the negotiations going. We're in negotiations right now. Don't think you're going to stall this thing out and end up having the thing go out to purse bids. It ain't going to go that way. We're negotiating right now. Tell us what you want. We'll tell us what we can give you. It'll be fair. It always is fair. It'll be more than fair. Anthony Joshua's purses have typically been quite generous. People can disagree. If you disagree, write it down in the comments section. We can address that. No problem. No problem. Okay. So, my position on this, it's very clear. It's very clear. They're in the negotiation phase right now. So negotiate. All Joshua and Hearn are telling you is if you don't negotiate during the negotiation phase, then we ain't going to be playing ball when it comes to no purse bids with the champion, with a unified champion, and we don't play that. Very simple. There ain't no running. There ain't no ducking. There ain't no dodging. And I hope that has answered the question clearly and comprehensively. Let's have a look at some of the comments in the comment section right about now. Red Glove Militant up in the area. He says everyone here should fight that like button. Grapple the like button. Grapple with it, and then smash it. That's the procedure. That's what we want to see. Grapple with that like button and then smash it. Give it one good punch. Finish the job. Finish the job. Don't leave things half done. We don't like that. We don't want that. AJ should have fought Usyk a while ago. He should have done, but these clowns came along. Talking about the Bob Arum, we're talking about the Tyson Fury, with their clown shoes and their clown nose squirting water out the end of it, thinking it's very funny, stringing people along. But no. There are limits. What's this? Shizzy is a decent heavyweight just outside the top 10. He is just outside the top 10. What else is going on? Who did Billy Joe fight for the WBO? 168 pounds. Nobody. But he got his shot. Same thing. I don't know. I'm lost. How do you mean? Anyway, in comes. Hold on, what's this? I think Joyce could beat Usyk, but it's a close fight. Hey, I'll watch it. If Usyk wants to play big Billy, big balls Charlie, and take a risk, then he can go ahead. He can go ahead and lose out on the Joshua fight and have to go and fight Joyce. And I don't think he relishes such a proposition. And in comes the man by the name, he's upside down, he's hanging by his toes. It's the John D. Lee. The John D. Lee. What's crack-a-lacking? How do you do?
Yeah, I'm good, Raf. What's the sound like?
It's okay. It's average. It's average. I'll give you a 5. It's passable.
All right. It's all right. It's all right. I'm in transit. That's all.
No problem. No problem. It's good enough.
I wanted to say regarding the Usyk Joshua situation.
Yeah.
The purse bid was due last Friday. So for that to not be called, both sides, as Usyk's side and Joshua's side, have to contact the WBO to say that they're happy that negotiations are moving forward. So the purse bid hasn't been called.
Right.
So I think that they're just using press statements to play hardball with each other a little bit. But if there was a real problem, he'd either be stripped by now or they'd have called the purse bid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Eddie Hearn's making statements basically saying, we're not going to be bullied into a purse bid. We're making you a fair offer, so agree to it. I think that's the reason he's negotiating with a fear of loss tactic in the press, basically.
Yes, fear of loss. Fear of loss is something that they underemploy, but at least now they're stepping in the right direction. They put him in this situation, putting Usyk and his team in a situation where, you know, they have to say, hey, are we going to take some certain money, or are we going to go out to purse bids and Joshua ain't going to do purse bids? So we fight Joyce for that.
Purse bid, the challenger for the WBO gets 20% and the champion gets 80%.
Right.
And the last time I checked, Usyk had to travel for every single one of his title fights. He's not really had any fights in the Ukraine.
No.
So who's going to come in and come up with a preferential venue for Usyk? So I don't really understand. I just think it's people asking Eddie the question and him just sending messages to Team Usyk that you need to agree to terms.
Yeah. So if it goes to purse bids, what are you saying? Usyk split his 20%?
That's the WBO rules, yeah. So Joshua gets 80%.
Yeah.
Someone's got to come in and buy the fight. And for that to benefit Usyk, it would need to be in a venue that's preferable to Usyk. Now, there's never been any big fights in the Ukraine. The Klitschko's never fought in the Ukraine. Usyk's never really fought there. Lomachenko doesn't fight there. So I think that Team Usyk have also notified the WBO to delay the purse bid because they're just sorting out the finer details, to be honest. And this is all a bit of a storm in the teacup. I mean, I could be wrong, but the fact is, if Team Usyk really wanted to not agree terms, they could have not contacted the WBO last Friday. The purse bid would have got called, and either Joshua drops the belt or we have a date for a purse bid, which we've not had.
So it seems like a storm in a teacup. Most likely Usyk is they're going to come to an agreement, and it's going to be better than 20% for Usyk. Seems like a storm in a teacup. They're trying to play hardball, and maybe Team Joshua for once are playing hardball too. That's my take on the situation. We're going to go around the table one more time. People can have their final say on this matter. And let me read the question again, because it was a question that I saw the questioner or the person who posed the question didn't come in to pose the question live. I thought you'd have come in and pose the question live, but never mind. I'll read what you wrote without mentioning any names. Okay. The hypocrisy. This was the questioner. The hypocrisy on the Joshua Usyk situation is beyond nuts. Joshua diehards continue to crap on Usyk, and they can't justify why Pulev was more deserving of a mandatory shot than Usyk. Pulev sat on the mandatory for 4 years and fought virtually no one. Well, let me address that directly. Who has Usyk fought in the heavyweight division of note other than Chisora? He's fought one person of note in the heavyweight division his entire damn life. Usyk, Joyce wasn't of note back in the day, not at the professional level. So Usyk has fought one person of note in the heavyweight division. Ever. What are you talking about? And then move to the first sentence. The hypocrisy on the Joshua Usyk situation is beyond nuts. Joshua diehards continue to crap on Usyk, yet they can't justify why Pulev was more deserving of the man. Listen, Pulev was a damn heavyweight. Pulev is a damn heavyweight. Contested his whole damn career, professional career, damn near all of it at the heavyweight division, high level. Pulev, that's Pulev. Whereas Usyk is a cruiserweight. But nobody's denying his pedigree. It was lineal, and yeah, fine. I don't know if he deserves a fight, but it's there. It's there. All Joshua was saying is, hey, make up your mind, accept an offer before it goes to purse bid. Very simple. It ain't as big. It ain't as big as of an issue as you imply, my dear fellow. Going out to the Iron Kong, then to the Fight Doctor, and then the final word to John D. Lee.
In terms of the Usyk thing or whatever, as I said, pretty much Kubrat Pulev and Usyk beat the same guy, right? Derek Chisora, right? Mm-hmm. So Pulev beat Derek Chisora for when I guess Derek was younger, I guess, for the EBU, when he had the EBU. He also beat one of the top 5 heavyweights, Shades of Ali. Let's not forget that's my guy. And I want to shout out my guy Huey Fury. Don't worry, champ. Don't worry, champ. They can't duck you forever. So Usyk needs to accept the man's terms and let's get the fight on. Simple as that. Let's not do all this nonsense. I see somebody in the chat said Joseph Parker got 39%. Joseph Parker had a belt. You understand? Joseph Parker had a belt. Usyk doesn't have anything. He has nothing. Okay? So that's the difference. Joshua were willing to overpay Joseph Parker.
Also, Kong is wrong. Joseph Parker got 33%.
Yeah. Okay, well, fine. 33%. He had a belt, and Eddie Hearn was also trying to overpay Joseph Parker to keep that fight away from Wilder.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So nobody's trying to overpay Usyk for nothing. Look, man, there's a fight available. Let's make a deal, and that's it. Simple as that, right?
Boom, boom, boom. Simple as that. Sign on the dotted line. Stop messing around. So the original question which I posed, it was erroneous. It suggested, it implied that Joshua didn't want the fight. Listen, they just want to get the damn thing done. Sign the damn paper. Let's get this thing done. Sick of the divas. Sick of people coming in, wasting our time to sign on the dotted line. Stop wasting our time with the A side. Stop messing around. Sign the paper or get the hell on up out of here. Go fight George. It's up to you. We're not bothered. Come on, make your mind up. The Fight Doctor.
I agree with Iron Kong. I mean, so let's just look at this strictly from a business point of view, right? Anthony Joshua is arguably the biggest draw in the sport of boxing. So if you are Alexander Usyk, the guy who recently moved up from cruiserweight, done nothing at heavyweight, not really a draw, at least not that I can tell at least. And you're negotiating with the guy who is arguably the biggest draw in boxing, well, and then as my esteemed colleague Iron Kong so astutely pointed out, you have nothing. You have no bargaining chips. You have nothing. How many pay-per-views have you sold? I mean, what have you done
lately,
other than win a bunch of meaningless titles in the weakest division in boxing. You know, you have no bargaining chips. So when you're negotiating with an Anthony Joshua who holds 3 belts, you know, you kind of have to go along. I mean, what's your alternative here? I mean, you don't have a plan B. Fight Joe Joyce to make how much money? To do what? So I think at the end of the day, listen, what if Andy Ruiz had held out in the first fight? If he would have been playing these stupid games that Usyk is playing right now, he would have missed out on an opportunity that indeed changed his life.
yeah,
Andy Ruiz is now in the record books forever because he got an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua. So, Team Usyk, this is your opportunity to etch your name in stone. Don't pass it up arguing over $2 or $3. That's stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't get it.
Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. John D. Lee.
Well, in direct answer to the person's question, Pulev fought a final eliminator against Hughie Fury to become the mandatory challenger, and that was a fight that took place at heavyweight. Usyk hasn't had a final eliminator, so that's what Pulev did that Usyk hasn't done. Besides being ranked in the top 10 rankings of the heavyweight division for about 10 years, again something that Usyk has never done. But going back to everybody else's point, I mean, what is Usyk's highest purse? The Tony Bellew fight. I mean, this guy doesn't sell. He's not entertaining because he's got no power. So you've got some hardcores that admire his skill, which he does have great skill, but he doesn't cross over to the casual market because he can't crack an egg. And let's look at it logically, right? What has Anthony Joshua got to fear? The worst thing that will probably happen is he gets accused of robbing him on the cards, because I very much doubt Usyk's going to get any favour off the judges. So, like, why would Anthony Joshua duck this guy? He's not going to get knocked out by him. This guy doesn't knock out the cruiserweights.
Happy feet and good hands. His feet aren't so happy at heavyweight, though.
Well, there's other issues as well. I've been through his record. I don't think the only one I don't know for certain is Chaz Witherspoon. But every single other fight, Usyk's pretty much had a reach advantage. So his style of boxing on the outside, he's been able to employ. He's got a big reach disadvantage against Joshua. So he's got to get in and get out without getting hit. And Joshua doesn't need to chase him around because Usyk can't touch him on the outside. So what I don't understand why. If anything, I know you like to recommend that people have an easy fight after a tough fight. I actually think, in terms of physical damage, the Usyk fight is a relatively easy fight. It might be tricky stylistically, but I think it's also difficult stylistically for Usyk because against Derek, he had actually quite a significant reach advantage.
Yeah.
And he still struggled. And against Chaz Witherspoon, who I think he may not have had a reach advantage over, he got hit. Now, if he gets hit as easily against Joshua as he did against Chaz, then I don't think he's going to go the distance. And I think that'll be the outcome, to be honest. So it's just an anti-Joshua narrative that they want to say Joshua's ducking.
Boom, boom, and the boom. Okay, that's the boom. That's the boom. Okay, it's been wrapped up. We've had 4 different opinions on the same topic matter, so surely we've covered it. We've covered the whole damn thing. Usyk, in summary, I'll try and summarize as best as I can. Usyk is not is not the boogeyman. Usyk ain't no kind of boogeyman that he's been made out to be. It's too light in the ass for the heavyweight division at the elite level. And it's too short in the arms. Light in the ass and short in the arms. That's double trouble. That's double trouble. So he ain't the bogeyman or the boogeyman he's being made out to be. That is my summary. Joshua ain't running from nothing. He just sign the contract. Sign the contract. It's that simple. Okay. So I hope that answered your question for the mystery non-caller. I hope that answers your question. I think we've chopped it up, diced it up, seasoned it, and then chucked it back on the fire. How about that? How about that? I want to see Usyk get bashed up badly by AJ. Damn, what has he done to you? What has he ever done to you? Okay. And as we move on, we're going into, what is this? We're going into Daniel Dubois versus Bogdan Dinu. The return of Daniel Dubois versus Bogdan Dinu. Date, UK start time. Free live stream TV. What do you mean free live stream? What are you talking about? Okay, what's going on? What's going on? Okay, Daniel Dubois returns to the ring this weekend when he takes on Bogdan Dinu in a heavyweight title tussle. The 23-year-old hasn't been in the ring since November when he lost by 10th round orbital eye damage against Joe Joyce. Daniel Dubois will be back in the ring. When is Dubois versus Dinu? Okay, it's Saturday this weekend, Saturday, June the 5th. The main event should be around 10:30 p.m. UK time. That's 9:30 Eastern time. And there's going to be 1,000 fans in attendance. Fight's going to be happening in Telford, not too many miles, about 30 miles away from where the Rafi is sitting right now in Dawkins Towers. What is this year? It will be televised. What's going on? It'll be televised on BT Sports 1, BT Sports 1 HD. You can live stream the action from the BT Sports app, which is available for download onto your mobile or tablet device. OMG. What else? What is that? Can I watch it for free? EE customers can get BT Sports included in their plan at no extra cost. If they're on a plan with smart benefits, simply log into your EE account and then get it on the big screen. Text by texting Sport 150 to get a free 3 months trial of the shut up. Okay, so we have Daniel Dubois versus Dinu. Tommy Fury versus Jordan Grant. Archie Sharp versus Marcio Souza. And it goes down and down and down. Remember, this is a Frank Warren fair. And down. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be messing around with much of the undercard. I'll just be concerned with the main event. I ain't got time to mess around. I'm excited to be back in the ring, said Dubois. This is my chance to remind people of what I'm actually about, which is winning fights in devastating fashion. I don't need to make any excuses for the Joe fight because everybody could see the issue with my vision. But Joe won fair and square, and we move on. Time is on my side, but I don't intend to slow down my progress, and I'm more than happy to be returning to the ring in a big fight, title fight that puts me right back in the picture. Right back in the picture. Okay, so what have I got to say about this? Daniel Dubois. We've already chopped this up. There's a lot of stories right now that I can't even really talk about because Daniel, we chopped it up already. We disseminated the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder thing. Actually, before that, we absolutely forensically examined and took apart why the undisputed fight fell apart. It was all on Fury and Bob Arum and Queensbury Promotions. We took that part, we disassembled it, reassembled it, and we found out all the moving parts. And the problem was over there at Top Rank, Bob Arum, Tyson Fury, and Frank Warren. He was just a sideshow guy. He was the sideshow guy, Sideshow Bob. He played the role of Sideshow Bob. So we tore that up. And as far as the eye is concerned, Daniel Dubois tore that up too, killed it, dismantled it. What's his name? The Billy Joe issue. We took that apart, dismantled it, forensically examined it. Yeah. And so there's a lot of things we can't really talk about now because we already done killed it. So the eye is not an issue no more unless it becomes an issue. I don't think it will. What's his name? Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois is with Shane McGuigan now. I think sometimes after some turbulence, things can fall into place if you planned them, if you planned it to fall into place. And so it looks like Daniel Dubois, well, I'm not even going to say nothing. We're just going to let him fight on Saturday, and then we will see what's up. We'll see what's up. Me, I think Daniel Dubois is in a good place with some good people. Let's see what happens going forward. I think he's going to knock out Dino within 4 rounds. And then it's on to the next steps, the next baby steps. Really poor card overall. Yes, I won't be doing no long thing with that. I'll do the main event. Maybe I'll have a look at the Tommy Fury thing, maybe not. It's just the main event for me. Okay, so Iron Kong, what are your thoughts and observations on this situation right here?
Yeah, man, I mean, another big time card by Queensbury Promotions. I mean, I honestly don't know who the people can be. So maybe they're big domestic people, but from what I can tell from y'all reactions, this card ain't about. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So Bogdan Dino will look good for 4 to 5 rounds. He will look good. He'll work the jab and he'll move, and then he'll get broken down by Dubois and then stopped. That's how he normally fights. With Pulev, same thing, look good. Busted up Pulev with Jarrell Miller. He was looking good for a few rounds. And then after a while, you get in on him because he's not beastly strong. You'll get in on him and then you'll stop it. So that's just what it is. I mean, a good fight for Daniel Dubois, come back. But my God, this fight is a final eliminator for a WBA title shot. This fight, Frank Warren is a genius.
Yeah. He knows his way. He knows his way around the schmoozing table. He knows how to schmooze. He knows his way around the schmoozing table. The fight doctor. What say you? What's crack-a-lacking?
I don't care.
Ha. Dang.
It's just that simple. I don't care. All right, so this is a good, I guess, this is a comeback fight.
It's ruthless.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't care. So, but at the same time, so you got your face broken in your previous fight. So now you need to gauge where your fighter is. So I can see the logic in this fight. But I agree with Iron Kong. Frank Warren was able to parlay this into a WBA title eliminator. Genius. I agree, because this is not, I mean, one guy's coming off of a loss. The other guy I've never heard of. So how is this an eliminator? But I see the logic in this fight, but I don't care. I don't care.
Okay.
Well, I'll take that back. That's too harsh. I care in the sense that we get to see where Dubois is at this point in his career, coming off a knockout loss and the injury. So, where is he now? So this, I think, maybe will answer some questions. But, I mean, honestly, we won't know until he's in front of somebody for real.
Mm-hmm. For real. The John D. Lee.
I kind of disagree with Kong and fight doctor.
Okay, run it.
I think it's a really silly move to try and rush Daniel along again. That's what got us to this point in the first place. Frank hasn't got the budget to deliver the proper learning fights for Daniel, and he needs to learn. And the problem Frank had was he couldn't pay anybody in the mid-range enough money to go in and probably get knocked out. There was nothing in it for those guys, and so he had to take a big step up against Joe Joyce, and he didn't have the ring IQ, knowledge, or experience of being in difficult positions, but against a lesser fighter than Joe Joyce to really know how to handle that. So getting put back to either being mandatory or one step away from a mandatory to the WBA after this fight is too soon.
Yeah.
It's too soon for him. He's got a new trainer. We've seen significant issues with his ring IQ, if nothing else. Not necessarily ability, but understanding what to do in difficult situations.
Mm-hmm.
So he needs to be brought along slowly. Whereas Frank's rushing him to a point where he's going to challenge for a world title. And Frank might think that he's the next Anthony Joshua, but he's already messed that up. And he's not another Anthony Joshua, he's another Daniel Dubois. He's just Daniel. Now, that might mean that he is good enough to be a world champion, but I think Daniel's somebody that they can afford to take the time with, but there's no benefit in giving him bums to knock over and then step him up. We've seen it doesn't work. So as a fight, for a comeback fight, this is great. No issues at all. And I'm surprised Shropshire Slasher isn't more excited to have a fight in Telford. But anyway, that's a different issue.
The Shropshire Slasher probably doesn't realize that the fight is actually in Shropshire. This fight is in Shropshire. It's in Telford, which is in Shropshire, about 30 miles away from Birmingham. So,
so it's exciting times.
Yeah,
exciting times for Shropshire. But like on a serious note, I think he's with the right trainer. This is the right fight for where he's at. I just don't see why we're rushing him towards a world title. But I don't. How old is he now? 23.
23.
So why not give him the correct learning fights? So when he is ready for a title, he can win it.
Eddie's in financial issues, and maybe he just wants to, a university professor once said to me, he said, in my country, we milk the cow twice, once in the morning and once in the evening. Eddie's just milking anything that moves right about now. He needs that night. Frank Warren, Iron Kong.
Question though, John said he doesn't have the money to. Who paid for the Bryant Jennings fight for Joe Joyce? Was that on the Queensberry or no?
That was Queensberry, I believe.
So
I don't think Bryant Jennings commands big purses.
Right, but then Bryant Jennings is a good middle fight, right? That was, that's a good judgment fight for someone like Daniel Dubois.
I agree that he is a good middling fight. I definitely agree with that.
So how is Frank able to do that for Joe Joyce, but not his number one blue chip prospect?
Was Frank? Is he definitely with Queensbury then? Because Joe has moved around a bit, hasn't he? He's been a bit hopeless.
No, Joe definitely with Queensbury.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not 100%. It's a really good point, Iron Kong. But it would seem that the absolute bums that he's been fighting, not Latte, but the other Ghanaian, just came to fall over. And the Japanese guy that he fought, was a fat super middleweight.
Fujimoto.
Campaigned at super middle. Yeah, Fujimoto had lost to somebody who'd lost to Golovkin. mean, what? Maybe it's not money. Maybe it's just horrendous matchmaking. I just thought it was money. But I also don't think they paid Brian Jennings a lot of money to fight Joe Joyce as well. But he would be a really good person for Daniel to fight. Maybe they thought it was too risky. Maybe they thought that he's a bit too tricky for Daniel to solve the puzzle with. I don't know.
Well, Bogdan it is. He's got a bit of a right hand, I'm told. Bogdan. He's coming back. Daniel Dubois coming back after the eye socket issue. We're gonna see. We're gonna see how that work out. I mean, I'm not expecting any problems. It's a question of looking to the future. Looking to the future. Get some proper opponents, but it seems like Frank Warren is determined to rush Daniel Dubois. Determined to rush him. This is a WBC interim title? WBA. Excuse me. My bad. WBA interim title. Yeah, it seems like he's determined to rush Daniel Dubois. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. You know the Rafi's philosophy over here. You know it's all about the slow cooking, the slow roasting. That's how you get the more flavor out of the thing, out of the pot. You slow cook, you slow roast, you do everything nice and slow. Nice and slow. I don't think we went nice and slow tonight. We went at a fair clip. At a fair clip. Rafi's busy in the morning. Been busy today. But you know what? It's always important to me to feed the people. It's always very important for me to feed the people. I made a commitment to the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio Nation that certain things I would do. And this is one of them. Feed the people multiple times per week. What's going on in here? NC up in the building. Big up the Shropshire Massive. There's a club down there in Telford, the Iron Kong. I don't know, NC might have been a bit before your time, but let's just say NC that when the brothers came from Birmingham and went over there and introduced a new flavor in the area. When the brothers from Birmingham went down there and introduced a new flavor to the area, let's just say it was very well received. And shall I say the name of the venue? Cascades. There it is. I said it. Cascades was a club where many a dream came true. Okay, and without going into any too further of a detail, I think Iron Khan wants to come back a little bit on that. I'm not sure. No. Hell no. Damn. Iron Khan tap quick to that one.
It sounds like Rafi was playing in the snow.
Playing in the snow. Was that a play on words, John Dealey? Is that what we're doing
well,
here?
It's a bit like when Iron Kong says he doesn't really get involved with vanilla. It's not a flavour he gets involved with.
Well, I may have been. If that's the case, I may have been playing in some snow then. Okay. Well, there was some caramel as well there, so it wasn't just pure snow. I'll have you know. Okay.
Hey, Rafi.
Yo.
All flavors have a place.
My sentiments, exactly a time and a place for everything. And the time is what? The time is 5 minutes past the hour of 11 p.m. The place is the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, and the modus operandi was to get to the bottom of these mysteries. I think we've looked at 3 or 4 mysteries and we've solved them, we've cracked them, we've talked about them. There's more things that I can talk about, but I'm gonna save those topics for a later date. The most important thing, where is it? It was Cascades. A little bit before your time, NC. Actually, ask your uncle, ask DK about the time that I took him down there. It's quite a funny story. Funny story. Ask him about when I took him down to Cascades. Actually, anyway, long story, but ask him. It's quite funny. Okay, so we've done it nice and sweetly. 1 hour, 20 minutes. Rafi's been busy today. He's going to be busy tomorrow. So I want to get some work in, get the work in, but not take too long with it. And I think we've folded, what? Haystacks folded the Rafi. Never in a million years. Yeah, he had the weight, but he didn't have the Floyd Mayweather footwork. He didn't have the Floyd Mayweather footwork. He couldn't handle it. Could not handle the speed of the Rafi's feet. Okay, would have put Bojangles to shame. Sammy Davis Jr. to shame. All of them men couldn't have matched the footwork on that particular night. But we have done it. We've done it. We've got through it. This has been Boxing Talk with Rafi 280. We're almost at the 300 mark. If you put all of them together, we're almost at the 400 mark. So it's good sailing. So before we go, traditionally, we want to hear from everybody on the panel. Final words. The Iron Kong. First of all, it's great of you to join us. Much appreciation. And your final words, sir.
Yeah, I was on Twitter the other night. I see Luke Campbell took umbrage to something Devin Haney said to Ryan Garcia involving his name. So it seems like Luke Campbell is trying to get back into a 3rd title shot so he can lose again. Let me just say, I'm not interested in seeing Luke Campbell fight no more. No. Luke Campbell is the reason why we have Ryan Garcia dealing with right now. And I don't want to see you have another title shot to lose again. Eddie Hearn should not be able to maneuver you in a position to fight again for another title. You will just lose, okay? Please leave Devin Haney alone. You can't beat Devin Haney. Stop. That's about it from me. It's 82 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's 6:07 in the evening. I'm going home now. Y'all have a nice evening. Well, I guess by it's like nighttime, almost morning. Yeah. So, peace out to everybody, the John Dealey and the man, the PhD himself.
Peace out. And that was the Iron Kong. Much appreciation goes out to the Iron Kong. Of course, he's got his own thing going over there. His own channel, regular lives. Feel free to check him out. It's good stuff over there. And then the fight doctor. Hold on a second. Un momento. Mommy, slow your tempo. In comes the Aaron Daly again. My 4 favorite panelists. Great show as always. Hey, it's much appreciation. Much apprecited, Aaron Daly. So the sponsors for the show have been Aaron Daly ×2 and the James Jameson. Those are the sponsors of the show. Where is it? Oh, boom, boom, boom. Deontay Wilder wouldn't have been in the top 100 against in Muhammad Ali's day. Real talk. Okay, and yes, nice quick one. It's not really that quick. I mean, it's still at the 1 hour 30 minute mark. So that's the kind of timing that I like to get these days. Get all the info in and move on. Prepare for a hectic morning. And the fight doctor. Glad that you could join us. Nice of you to join us. Your thoughts and observations. Please say your final words.
Nice of you to have me, Ralph. Thank you. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the panel, Mr. Dealey, Mr. Kong. Just want to recap real quick what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
With Deontay Wilder's trainer. What's his name?
Malik King Scott.
So Yeah, more like Malik Peon Scott. Okay, because what he said was incredibly stupid. I mean, so Muhammad Ali. So it's prize fighting, right?
Yeah.
And you know, say what you will about Muhammad Ali, but he was a draw in his day.
Mm.
And maybe he was a draw because of how people hated him, but he was a draw nonetheless.
Mm.
And at the prime of his career, at the prime of his power, they took away his ability to practice his profession.
Yeah.
And in doing so, they robbed us of the opportunity to having, they robbed us of the opportunity to see the greatest heavyweight ever fight in his prime years.
Yeah, yeah. Big facts, big facts.
Now, I don't know how much money Ali was making in his prime, or when he was before he was stripped, but I would imagine Ali was probably one of the top 3 or 4 paid athletes in the world at that time. I don't know for sure, but that's just what I suspect.
Right.
Now, they stripped his title, stripped him of his ability to make money, all because he refused to go along with their program.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, Muhammad Ali could have flipped the script and just gone along with their program, and everything would have been put back the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
There are no parallels to be drawn between what Deontay Wilder is facing, because a lot of what he's going through is basically it's his own doing.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything that he's going through right now, it's his own doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Muhammad Ali was practicing his First Amendment right.
Yeah.
To speak his mind, and because his opinion was unpopular, they took away his ability to make money. He didn't commit any crime outside of speaking the truth. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't make any excuses.
Right.
So for you to come and somehow equate what Deontay Wilder has suffered, which is, again, a product of his own doing, to what Muhammad Ali had to endure is the epitome of dishonesty.
Yeah.
And ignorance.
Yeah.
You know, and you make yourself look incredibly stupid by trying to equate what Deontay Wilder has suffered compared to what Ali went through. And, you know, Muhammad Ali, when he stood up, he didn't just stand up for Black people in America. Muhammad Ali stood up for every human being on earth. He stood up for the whole world and was punished for doing so, and took his punishment like a man, didn't make no excuses. And in the end, he won. Why? Because he had truth on his side. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, he has his delusions.
Listen, and Foreman, Norton, Shavers all beat Wilder inside 4 rounds.
Yeah. Muhammad Ali's resume is sick. It's sick. Okay? I mean, his resume is crazy. It's unreal.
How could anyone in their right mind compare Wilder's efforts to that of Muhammad Ali, either in or out of the ring?
There's no comparison to be made whatsoever. And anyone who would make such comparison proves that Roger Mayweather is correct in his assessment that certain people just don't know ish about boxing. And Malik Scott would be one of those people. Definitely.
Yes, I covered that story. That was a fun one. I should bring that one back. I should post that one at the end of this show. Still is Lisa. Still is. Okay. And yes, that was the fight, Doctor. Much appreciation. Much appreciation. That was the fight, Doctor. And yes. Good stuff. Good stuff indeed. And then there were 2. John D. Lee.
Well, I joined a bit late, so I'm gonna say my little thing about it.
Yeah, what do you think?
Alex got some nonsense.
Yeah.
Now, people may or may not know this, depending on how long you've been listening to the show. I'm not necessarily Ali's biggest fan. However, when it comes to questioning Ali's resume and the stands that he took as a man, there's no questioning it at all. None. And what Deontay Wilder did wasn't a stand for other people. He did something to improve his own financial situation to get a fight for a big purse. As the fight doctor has quite explicitly shown, what Muhammad Ali did cost him a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it was to his own detriment. One of the reasons that Joe Frazier never forgave Ali for the smack talk was partly because Frazier actually gave him money because Ali was so hard up when they wouldn't let him fight.
That's correct.
So Ali took a stand on principle for people's human rights. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, what Deontay Wilder did do is comparable to something other great fighters have done, but it's not Ali. This is comparable to what Lennox Lewis did when he got Rockman back in the ring. And when Lennox Lewis did that, I didn't hear Lennox say anything about making a stand like Ali. We didn't hear any of that nonsense because it's got no bearing. It's just there's no comparison, none whatsoever. And this is the second time in about 2 months people have tried to make this comparison. Teofimo's father tried to claim that his purse bid with Triller was like what Ali did. They just need to take Ali out of their mouths completely when they're trying to improve their own financial situation. Because Ali did something that was beyond boxing and beyond money. In fact, it cost him money. So we just need to just stop talking about it.
Real talk.
And as for fighters, I mean, I'm not, if you know me well, I'm not Ali's biggest fan. However, he is definitely my second greatest heavyweight of all time. And his resume, it's difficult to beat Ali's resume. You just look at resume for resume. Because the other name that got left off there, I think, when we're listening, was Liston. And when Ali was ever asked about his biggest achievement, he was actually beating Sonny. And then you put that on top of all the other names we've talked about, it's a phenomenal resume, without question.
Yes. So, crazy
talk.
talk.
Me on, Raf. I know you want to get off.
Hey, much appreciation goes out to the John D. Lee. Still got people coming on in. Damn, I think I forgot to instruct people, but surely I don't need to instruct people to hit the like button anymore. Surely everybody knows to smash that like button. Terry Tibbs comes in. Lamborghini Terry. I know I've spelled that wrong, so let's get that down. In comes the Beeb. Ali went to Iraq in 1990 to meet with Saddam Hussein and got the American hostages freed. OMG. 1990. Damn, back in the dizzy. 92,000, 10, 20. Yeah, what's that now? 40 years ago? OMG. Damn, good observation. Well spotted. For sure. Hope we've answered all the questions raised. Covered a lot of stuff. Covered the Wilder. The allegation the Wilder is the closest thing to Ali. Pure and utter nonsense. Looked at Daniel Dubois' next fight on the weekend. I'll be covering that over here at the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And of course, we looked at what else did we look at? Looked at Wilder. Looked at Daniel Dubois. We looked at Joshua versus Usyk. And the factors surrounding that shiznix, but we haven't touched on Mayweather Paul, and we ain't stopping to do that now. Timing's nice. It's 1 hour 35. It's 1 hour 35 mark, and what is it? 20 minutes past 11 p.m. over here in the UK. If you got a busy morning, that's a busy day. Got a busy morning, so gotta get off to bed. Get off to bed. Get the beauty sleep in. Much appreciation to everybody who took time to come on in. Much appreciation to the show sponsors, Aaron Daly and the Jameson. Much appreciation to everybody who took time out to come up on the panel. Gan Kong, the Fight Doctor, and the John D. Lee. And most of all, much appreciation to everybody who shows any kind of appreciation in any kind of way. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and hit all the good buttons. Until next time. Of course, we're going live on Saturday to cover the Dubois Joyce thing. We'll be late in the card, maybe cover just the last 2 fights. He has all the pajamas, eh? Damn. I only wear pajamas by my own brand. Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Don't forget about the live show. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And I'm out. Blessed.